is the numerical solution to the statement 20 more than 3 times a number is equal to 35? Okay, right here, 20 more than 3 times a number is equal to 35. We can write that three times a number, it's 3 times n, and we want 20 more than that. So 3n plus 20, and that is equal to 35. Okay? And from here, it's just a matter of solving that equation for n. If you've forgotten how to do that, subtract 20 from both sides. And then divide by 3. So n equals 5. Now you could have also just plugged those answers in to the question. When you plug in 5 right here, you would have gotten the right answer, because you would have said 20 more than 3 times 5. You're plugging 5 in for the number. 20 more than 3 times 5 is equal to 35. And you just ask yourself if that's true. Well, 20 more than 3 times 5, 3 times 5 is 15. So 20 more than 15 is 35. Okay, I'm going to go through the rest of these fairly quickly. So if you need to stop the tape, make sure you do that while you're working these questions out. 4 more than half a number. Okay, here's half a number. Put the number over 2, that's half the number. 4 more than that is equal to 14. You solve it, and you get n over 2 equals 10, so n equals 20. Number 3, 4 less than twice a number. Here's twice a number. 4 less than that is 2n minus 4, and that's equal to 64. When you solve this, you get n equals 34. So when I plug 34 in for n, this comes out to be true. Number 4, 15 more than 1/3 a number is equal to 20. Okay, 15 more than 1/3 a number. Here's 1/3 of a number, n over 3. 15 more than that is equal to 20. So n over 3 equals, subtract 15 from both sides, and I get 5. And then right here, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. That cancels out those 3's, and I get n equals 5 times 3, which is 15. Again, you could have said, you could have plugged this answer in here, and you said 1/3 of 15 is 5. 15 more than that is 20. So if you don't want to solve these algebraically the way I'm doing here, just plug your answers in to the word problem and see which one works. Number 5, 2 more than twice a number is 84. Okay. 2 more than twice 41 is 84. Check that if you're not sure. Just plug that answer in and you'll see that that's correct. Number 6, 8 less than 5 times a number is 32. 5 times a number, 8 less than that is 32. So 5n equals, add 8 to both sides, 5n equals 40, n equals 8. Okay, look at number 1. Jennifer works at a local hamburger stand. One of her duties is to refill ketchup bottles. Yes, that word is ketchup. That's how we used to spell ketchup. A bottle containing 2 ounces of ketchup is placed on the counter. Okay. Jennifer pours more ketchup in at a rate of 1/2 ounce per second. So on a question like this, you need to think about what's going on. Try to picture this in your mind, what's happening. She puts this bottle on the counter that has 2 ounces of ketchup in it. 2 ounces of ketchup. So it starts out with 2 ounces. And then every second, she's going to add an additional 1/2 ounce per second. Okay, so look at these equations. Answer B, it says there's 2, and then you add a 1/2 ounce every second. Because look, it's X seconds. So every second, we're going to add a 1/2 ounce. That's how you do a problem like that. Number 2 is the same type of problem. She's going to start with 208. Number of words. She starts out with 208, and then every minute she's going to add some 40 more words. 40 words per minute. So we're going to add 40 every minute. 208 plus 40n. Okay, that's not what that one says. This one's minus. This one is 208 plus 40, and then multiply that by n. This one is 208 plus 40n. Answer D is correct. Number 3. Okay, this farmer has invested $25,000 into his cotton crop. Once the crop is harvested, he makes $49.83 per bale. Okay, now go ahead and look at your answers. It says, which equation best represents P, the amount of profit? What you have to realize here you have to understand what profit is. Okay, profit is the amount of money that you make by selling whatever it is that you're selling. In this case, he's selling bales of cotton. So it's that amount, but then you have to subtract the amount that you spent. Okay? You didn't just make that money, you had to spend some money to be able to make that product. In this case, he had to buy. Well, it just says he spent $25,000, so he probably had to buy seed to make the cotton. and then he might have had to pay some laborers to put the seed in, okay? So it says he has $25,000 invested. So the profit here is going to be the amount that he got from selling cotton. It's going to be $49.83 per bale. Which is times 6. Tells us 6 bales, so minus how much he invested. 25,000. Okay. So answer B. Number 4. A plumber charges $28.99 for each home visit plus $14.95 every hour. Which sentence could be used to find C, the cost in dollars, for V, number of house visits, and H, hours? Okay. It's $28.99 for each visit. V is visits, plus $14.95 every hour, and hours are H. Okay, so $28.99 V plus $14.95 H. And there's the answer. Okay, here's a simple little problem. It's kind of like a puzzle. They're giving you this equation, and they're giving you some information down here, and you want to use that information in the equation. Okay? Notice here, they've got x, comma, 2. Well, if this is the x, you know 2 is the what? It's the y. So they're telling you that y is equal to 2. So you're going to use that and just plug it in. Just say 2x plus 3 times y, but we know y is 2. So we can put a 2 in for the y, equals 36. And then you just solve this. Okay. Number 2, same thing. Now they're telling us x. X is 4. Plug the 4 in for x. 4 plus 6y equals 16. So 6y equals, subtract 4 from both sides, 12. So y equals 2. Make sure you bubble that in correctly. The 2 needs to go right before the decimal point. Number 3. X is negative 25. So I'm going to plug that in here. So do the math there. Negative 5 plus 5y is 100. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Okay, I need to add 5 here because that's negative 5. Okay, and divide by 5. So y equals 21. Okay, these are the same type of problems. X is 1. Three plus 4y equals 11. 4y equals 8. Divide by 4. Y equals 2. Okay? Again, if you don't want to do this algebraically, when you plug this answer in for y, they're asking for y, so when you plug that in for y, 1 comma 2, you would get 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 times 2 is 8, 3 plus 8 is 11. Number 2, we're told that x is 3. So I plug that in there. I get 4 times 3 plus 2y equals 18. 12 plus 2y. 2y equals, subtract 12. Divide by 2. So y equals 3. Bubble that in just like that. Make sure the 3 is before the decimal. Number 3. Okay, here's something a little bit different. It says the Benavidez family owns 24 square miles of land. Okay, so we're talking about area here. The width is 5 miles less than the length. And they want to know what the length is. Okay, and you have to use a little bit of common sense here about the area of a rectangle. Okay, you know the area of a rectangle. If you forget this, look on your formula chart. Most of you will remember is length times width. Okay, so whatever numbers we're plugging in for length and width, when we multiply those two together, it has to equal 24. Okay? Because they tell us the area is 24. And you have to understand when they talk about square miles, they're talking about area. That's how area is measured in square units. Now, the best way to do a problem like this is to start asking yourself, how do I get to 24? If my length times width is 24, how do I get there? Okay, what I mean by that is, what are some combinations that give me 24? Okay, here's some of them. 3 times 8. 4 times 6. Okay, so those are the 4 different combinations. So one of those is going to be the answer for length and width here. Now we need to look at what else they tell us. It says the width is 5 miles less than the length. So which of these combinations gives you a width that is 5 less than the length? And you can see right here, if the width is 3 and the length is 8, then the width would be 5 less than the length. So the length is 8. And they're asking us for the length. So bubble in 8 right there. Okay? Because now the width is 5 less than the length, and the area is 24. Because 3 times 8 is 24. Okay. It says the graph of the linear equations y equals x plus 2 and y equals 3x minus 6 are shown below. Now, you should recognize these as linear equations, both of them. You can plug both of those into your calculator and graph them. You're going to get a graph that looks like this. They're giving you the graph here. Okay, basically, one of the lines is this one, and the other line is this one. Down here, what they've basically done is say this line, this first one, is equal to the second line. So if you could see from that that what they're asking you is where are those two lines equal? Well, all you got to do is go find where they touch each other. Right there. That's where they're equal. And at that point, they want to know what is the value of x. You come over from here. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now you also could have plugged a 4 in for x at both places, and you would have seen that that makes this equation true. 4 plus 2 equals 3 times 4 minus 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. So those are equal. Number 2. Same thing. You got two lines. When they're equal to each other, right here, what is the value of x? Here, x is 0, and here, x is 1. Okay. I also could have plugged the 1 in for x here and here, and found out that that was true. Okay, number 1 says a local hardware store rents chainsaws described by the function. And we're given a function in which f of h is the cost. Okay, that's the total cost. So cost is out here, and h is the number of hours we rented the chainsaw. That's here. So here's cost, here's the hours. It says Brad can spend up to $148 to rent the chainsaw. Okay, so $148 is obviously the cost, so it's going to go here. F of h is the cost, so I'm going to write that. I'm going to write out my function. Okay, we're given 148, but it's what we're looking for is how many hours. Okay, the h. This is what we're looking for. So we need to solve this equation for h. Now, one thing you can do here is just plug these numbers in, plug these answers in. So you take 4, plug it in for h, see if that works. And that's not going to work. The answer is going to be 24, because when we plug 24 in for h, we get 24 times 4.95 plus 24.99, and we get 143.79 when we plug 24 in. So we can rent it for 24 hours. Number 2. Kobe drove at a rate of 40 miles per hour going towards College Station. After 90 minutes, how far has Kobe driven? Okay. One thing you gotta realize here, 40 miles per hour for 90 minutes. Okay. These units are not the same. Hours and minutes, so we need to change minutes to hours. 40 miles per hour for how many hours? How many hours is that? It's 1 hour and 30 minutes, or 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. Okay. What you could have done is said 90 divided by 60. 90 minutes divided by 60 minutes in an hour gives you 1.5. Okay, when you multiply it out, you get 60 miles. Number 3. Okay. One of these answers is going to make this right. Okay. Eduardo purchased a new car. He estimates the current value of his car using this formula, which f of x is the current value, and x is the time since he purchased the car in months. Okay. It says he's had the car for 45 months. What is the estimate of the current value? Well, all you got to do here is plug 45 in to x, and you're going to get your answer. So you take 21,000 minus 312 times 45. And you get 69.60. Number 4. Michael jogs 3.5 miles per day for 5 days every week. Okay. 3.5 times 5 is 17.5. So in a week, he jogs 17.5 miles. If he wants to jog 148 miles, how many weeks will Michael need to jog in order to reach his goal? So let's just take 148 and divide it by how many miles per week he jogs. So divided by 17.5, and we get 8.45 weeks. Now, you notice 8 and 9 are both answer choices. Okay, so you have to decide which one are they looking for. So here you want to read your question carefully. It says, how many weeks will Michael need to jog in order to reach his goal? Okay, so you ask yourself, does he reach his goal after 8 weeks? And the answer is no, because he needs to go a little farther. So he's got to go 9 weeks to reach his goal. Number 5. We have a function. Lance is riding in a bike race. The race mileage can be described by this function, 52 minus 9x, in which f of x is the distance left to the end of the race, and x is the time in hours. After 3.5 hours, how many miles does Lance have left before the end of the race? So 3.5 is the number of hours. And they tell us that's X. So we're going to plug 3.5 in right there. F of X equals 52 minus 9 times 3.5. Let's just put that in the calculator. And you get 20.5. 20.5 or 20.5. Okay. Number one. Graham works in sales for a high-tech company. His salary is described by the following function. Okay, f of x is the salary, x is the total dollar amount of sales by Graham. If Graham wants to make $75,000, what is the minimum dollar amount of sales he must make during the year? Okay? Now, what I would recommend on these is plugging these answers in until you find the right answer. Okay? If you try to solve this algebraically, it's going to be a little more work. But when you plug these answers in for x up here, what you're looking for is he wants to make $75,000. That's the salary. Okay? That's this number out here. You want this to equal 75,000. So you're going to plug these answers in for x, and when you plug in answer B, you get 0.02 times 1,830 plus 38,400, and when you multiply that out and add it, you're going to get 75,000. Okay? That's all there is to that. You're just plugging in your answers until you find the right one. Same thing with number 2. Okay? Hillary wants to make this much profit. Okay? So that's the amount that's going to go out here. So when we plug these answers in for x, the x is the total sales, and they're asking us how much amount of sales she must make. So you're plugging these in for x until you find the one that gives you this amount of profit. And let me check that answer. And the answer is D, because when we plug that in for x, we get 74,880. Okay? Number 3. A pitcher containing 3 ounces of soda is put under a leaky spigot on the soda machine. The spigot is leaking at a rate of 2 ounces per minute. Which equation best represents T, the total amount of soda in the pitcher after M minutes? So you're starting with 3, and every minute you're adding 2 more. So 3 plus 2m. Right there. It's 3 plus 2m. Number 4. The cost of renting an RV is described by this function. Okay, which f of x is the cost and x is the mileage driven. If Todd has $1,200 to spend, what is the maximum number of miles he can drive if tax is not considered? Okay, so you're plugging these answers in for x, and answer C is right because when you plug 2704 in for x, you get something real close to $1,200. Okay? Number 1. If you add Jason's and Heather's age, you get 51. Okay, right there. J plus H equals 51. Got it right there, and we've got it right there. So it's one of those two. And it also says Jason is 9 years younger than twice Heather's age. Okay, this is the only one that has anything about twice Heather's age, so D is the answer. Number 2. Cedar Park played San Marcos in soccer and scored a combined 17 points. So C plus S equals 17. Okay, we got that here. And that's it. Okay, so more than likely the answer is D. Let's go ahead and look at the rest. C scored one more than 3 times S. So C equals one more than 3 times S. There you go. Number 3. Heather and Brandon jogged a combined 45 miles last week. So H plus B equals 45. H plus B equals 45. And we can rule out those two. It also tells us that Heather jogged 3 more than twice Brandon. Okay? Heather jogged 3 more than twice Brandon. This one says 3 more than half of Brandon. Okay? Coach Macon has 30 balls in a basket. The number of basketballs is 3 more than half the number of volleyballs. Okay, so he has 30 balls, and it looks like they're all either basketball or volleyball, so B plus V has to equal 30. You got that there. Rule out those two. And it says B is 3 more than half V. B is 3 more than half V. There's your answer. Jason has 230 sports cards in a box. And it looks like they're all football and baseball. So F and B. So he has a total of 230, so F plus B is 230. Rule out those two. These both have F plus B is 230. We're also told that football is 20 more than 6 times baseball. Okay, so football is 20 more than 6 times baseball. Right there. Number 3. Christy made 48 cookies. Number of chocolate chips was 3 more than 3 times as many sugar. Okay, so 48. Total of 48. So S plus C equals 48. S plus C equals 48. So we can roll out those two. And we're also told that the number of chocolate chips C is 3 more than 3 times sugar, which is S. So which one says that? Chocolate chips is 3 more than 3 times S. Right there.
Hayden Michael Andre. Kelsey Christine Abbott. Joel Brian Aranda.